West Virginia is wild and wonderful. It's where coal is king, and even politicians want you to buy into them because of their mining connections. The money is good in the coal business, yet those looking for work have had to struggle during the down economy, and now they're competing against the overregulation of the current administration. Wild and wonderful West Virginia is now regulated West Virginia. For generations, West Virginia has been a coal mining state.
My great-grandfather was a coal miner, and then my grandfather was a coal miner.
Stories like that in West Virginia towns are typical. Mining is the top job creator in state private industry and has been the trade families intended to use to build better lives for future generations. The federal government is countering with a heavily funded training program for another line of private work. The program is called the Southern Appalachian Labor School, and it avoids the state's traditional industry. Schools like these are supposed to be training young people on how to work in construction. However, we found out that construction jobs are very hard to find in West Virginia. In fact, we didn't see any construction work at all outside of the occasional road project that appeared to be dormant. West Virginia residents question whether the money and energy put into SALS is really worth it.
Well, I have a training center if you ain't going to have no construction. They've nothing right here.
Yet SALS students say they're hopeful that all of this training will help them to always have a meal on the table for their family.
I have learned several new job skills pertaining to the construction industry. It's really furthered my education. I was able to get my GED through the SALS program. I had a family and no high school diploma and no true future in the employment field, and now that I've been with SALS, I believe that I could find a better paying job.
Now, we have to say that John was an incredibly nice guy, but the bad news for him is that construction companies we spoke with off camera said they weren't hiring anybody. Those jobs simply don't exist. And the head of the program couldn't name one specific success story out of his school. People finding jobs in this economy now? Graduates?
Well, the graduates of the Southern Appalachian Labor School are finding jobs in various places and ways. I mean, it's really, some of them are just going into all kinds of different things. Construction, of course. There's also been a very vibrant expansion of certain industries, such as the prison industry. I mean, these aren't necessarily good signs in a certain sense.
Well, other bad signs include the fact that the federal government is giving this program around $1 million a year in funding. According to its statement of revenue, it brought in close to $1.7 million in grants for 2010. It has a reported total assets of close to $1.7 million. And with our massive $1 trillion national debt, it would seem that type of money shouldn't be thrown around. The gentleman who runs this program, Professor John David, is a vocal supporter of far-left ideas. He works on a satellite campus of the massive state institution known as West Virginia University, and one can't see much evidence of the state's poverty in this college town. David explains what SAL's Youth Build program is supposed to be doing.
We have a program that works with youth who have left school for various reasons that, basically they have that are personal, I guess, in many ways. And, of course, they're at-risk youth. But after they have left school, they might decide they want a GED or a diploma after all, and many do. And so we're trying to work with them to give them a GED and give them some training experience working on houses in coal camp communities that are in very, very poor condition, owned by low-income families. And so basically with the training program, they obtain certificates. We have some green certifications available. We also have some certifications available through the Home Builders Institute and other sorts of recognized certification programs. And so they pass those little tests and get certificates, and they get on some national registries as having competencies in those areas.
Dr. David concedes that finding work in mines is hard these days. Please remember that he is a supporter of leftist environmentalism.
Mining employment has gone down significantly, actually. The United Mine Workers runs an institute in Beckley which retrains miners for other jobs, recognizing that, in many instances, folks need to be put out in new ways to deal with the fact that employment has has declined significantly in the mines.
The coal industry is providing approximately 30,000 jobs in West Virginia. Though that number is shrinking, coal also provides safe and affordable energy for millions of customers globally. Yet the current administration has instituted regulations that don't make state residents very happy.
From what I understand, Obama's doing away with mining. I mean, that's the biggest scare going on around here right now is the mining thing.
Now, maybe Obama isn't shutting the industry down completely, but the administration is certainly hobbling the industry and costing jobs. A Page, West Virginia child care worker explains what's happened at a nearby mine.
They actually laid off right around 250 people 2 months ago. So we have watched our families struggle with places to live, how to keep jobs, how to keep food on the table, things like that.
On top of that, Sal's newsletter recently attacked a state mine. An article published in the Sal's Journal says, quote, "Dragons roam the hills of southern West Virginia. They ravish the land and devour the people. Our dragon is the Fraser Creek Mining Company." Fraser Creek Mine employees refused to respond on camera. Its parent company also did not respond to the accusation that its people are like dragons. But it's clear the mine is employing several state residents. Now, Sal's also has an apparent ally with Obama's Environmental Protection Agency. The administration has created guidelines for mining. It's curtailed mountaintop coal mining. According to experts, new regulations affect most mines. This makes it harder for companies to want to bring in new workers. According to a House Committee on Natural Resources report, the administration's coal mining regulation campaign will be heavily over budget and cost up to 7,000 jobs. Experts say this is ending an era for coal mining. That being said, the Obama administration has also threatened new taxes on job creators.
How can we slash funding for education and clean energy before we ask people like me to give up tax breaks we don't need and didn't ask for? That's not right. It's not fair.
It makes one wonder if we really need the government to stick its nose in this.
It seems like to me it's a conflict of interest that the government shouldn't get involved. It's just ridiculous.
And remember, mining is, was, and will always be dangerous work.
It's not an easy job to go underground or above ground or wherever you need to go and do these things. It's a very dangerous job.
West Virginia mines feature ominous signs outside that read ambulance entrance. The trade-off here, it's also very lucrative work.
I know a lot of people that are college educated that choose the mines just because the money's good.
For the state of West Virginia mining work, an operating 2 engineer for 2012 is $31 an hour base, and the fringe benefits, which were enacted in the 1970s, are $16.90 an hour. So basically you're paying somebody $46.90 an hour.
In our travels around what's known as the Mountain State, we saw countless signs that read Friends of Coal. That's an industry group that educates people on the coal industry and supports those who work in it.
Friends of Coal is really, I think, just a big support system for the miners. I mean, that's what we're based on. That's what West Virginia is founded on, is coal mining. That's our roots. And I think it's just people wanting to show their pride and saying that we support our miners, we support our state.
Now, Friends of Coal has those who are apparently not friends at all.
I can't speak for Friends of Coal. It's basically a slogan that's been put out by the West Virginia Coal Association. And it is basically folks that are associated with the industry itself who are proponents of coal and concerned about regulations and not happy with anything that interferes with the production of coal.
And isn't production what our economy needs? West Virginia sure needs productivity. Its economy was devastated along with the global economic collapse of the late 2000s.
Right now I'm currently unemployed.
Many are struggling to find work.
I've tried hundreds of jobs, just nobody wants me, and it's hard to get situated.
And when one thinks of places to go and find work in West Virginia, they think of the mining companies. Unfortunately, it's not always easy to find a job there.
I got a lot of friends that are trying to get in the mines, and it's real hard for them. It's more of a, if you don't know somebody that can't help you out, then I mean it's a big issue. It's real hard for a lot of people.
Add to that the amount of mines that have been going under.
Actually, several of our families were laid off. They shut the deep mine completely down.
Abandoned mines are accompanied by boarded-up buildings that were once thriving businesses. One can imagine that this store employed a few people from nearby towns. It is likely that those people have had to move on.
In the area, you can see we have a lot of empty houses and things like that where people have had to move and relocate to try and find better jobs.
Overall, the people of West Virginia seem frustrated with the jobs picture and economy in their state. What's the job picture like in Oak Hill, West Virginia?
Horrible. Horrible. Not good at all. No jobs for nobody. Don't know anything else I can tell you.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Outside of the beauty of West Virginia, one of the things that struck us about the state is how kind the people really are. They were offended that they're often looked down upon.
We are college educated. We do work hard. I mean, that's what these men and women do in the cult. They work hard. They risk their lives every day.
They were also offended that guys in suits in other parts of the country were telling them how to do business.
It just makes it harder on the good families around here that want something better for their family.
It's people that so-called tree huggers or things like that that say, oh yeah, let's watch out for the environment. But they have never experienced it firsthand.
Country roads take me home.
The state that is wild and wonderful is proud, and the people don't want to stop being wild and wonderful.
West Virginia.
They certainly don't want to be a regulated West Virginia.